Why don't you give yourself a brief introduction? Tell me where you're coming from. I know you heard of me through Brad Olson, and you speak at conferences with Brad. So give me the warm up my audience to know who you are and what you do, and we're gonna have a extremely interesting conversation. I hope.
Yes, my name is Samuel Chong. I'm a certified court interpreter based in Los Angeles, California, and I was born in Beijing, China. And the reason I'm so interested in promoting the messages in the book Thiaoouba Prophecy is because I think the world is going to the wrong direction, and I think the ETs with advanced civilization may have excellent ways to help us to move us or maybe to lead us to the right path. And I think they explained a lot of the mysteries on Earth very, very reasonably and logically, such as the Great Pyramid of Egypt, the Bermuda Triangle, the stories in the Bible, such as Exodus, and also the teachings of Jesus and Christ. And also some of the other things that they mentioned about the importance of color and the human energy fields like auras, and also the real dangers on Earth. Number one being money. Number two, politicians. Number three, journalists and drugs. Number four, religions.
Okay. All right. Is that that's it?
Yes.
So I want to start out and say that we come from understanding that the Earth is not a heliocentric ball, that we are geocentric, that we're not on a ball. But everything else you're talking about, the experiences, the messages from ETs, the government hiding them, we're on the same page. We're just
Mhm.
looking at it from a different paradigm. All right. So what
Yes.
I would like to do is I would like to talk about outer space, what it is, what they tell us it is, and what physics tells us it can't be. Right.
Sure.
So this is from NASA. Do you believe in NASA?
Well, I think probably 60 or 70% of NASA.
Okay. I mean, we can spend a lot of time. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but if I could show you NASA faking being on the space station, that the Chinese people, no offense, because we have it too, that the space stations are fake, that they're hanging from wires, they're using green screens. I can show you some of these examples if you'd like. Um, all I have to do is show you one, and then you'll know, okay, I can't trust anything that NASA says. So let's maybe we'll go that way in a little bit, but I want to talk about space first. And then
Mhm.
if you wanna hit some of the NASA stuff, then you'll understand that NASA is completely full of it. And now that doesn't change anything. It doesn't prove the shape of the Earth. It doesn't make aliens real or fake or nothing. We don't need NASA. We don't need NASA. We are human beings with minds and equipment and understandings and experiences that can do that. So this is showing NASA showing us what the sun looks like from the moon, from Venus, from Earth, right? And as you go
Uh-huh.
farther out, the sun is basically, you can't even see it. It's a tiny little star from Neptune, right?
Mhm.
So from
Yeah.
Jupiter, the sun is really tiny. Have you ever gone out at night and looked up and seen Jupiter in the sky?
Yes, I tried. Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
I mean, and you have, and it's like if you, it looks like a star. It looks bigger than any other star and brighter than any other star. We could agree on that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So you have to believe now. They tell us Jupiter is 98% helium and hydrogen, which defies gravity here on Earth. But they say that Jupiter has more gravity than all of the other planets in our solar system combined. Weird. Just hold on to that thought. Then you have to say a Jupiter is a gaseous atmosphere. So a gaseous atmosphere is not very reflective. You can light it up. We'll agree with that. And do you know what the inverse square law of light is? Every time you
Yeah.
every time you double your distance to a light, it's a quarter of the brightness because light
Mhm.
spreads out as it goes. So it's getting weaker and weaker. It's stretching thinner and thinner. Like if I had a piece of rubber and I stretched it, it would get thinner and thinner. Light spreads out and gets thinner and thinner. You have to believe that this little sun, smaller than our sun, is lighting up Jupiter. That sun is reflecting off of the non reflective clouds and coming back to Earth, and we see it as bright as we see it.
Mhm.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not saying what it is. I'm not saying making any claims. I'm just saying the official explanation of Jupiter and all of the other planets absolutely make no sense, right? So then we'll look at the size of the sun. So you can fit 1,300 Jupiters, right? Jupiter, nearly 1,000 Earths can fit inside of Jupiter. 1,000 Earths, right? Earth is huge. And then you could put 1,300 Jupiters in the sun, and then the sun compared to this other star is literally almost unseeable, right? Now, suns and stars are the same thing. They tell us our sun is one of the smallest classified stars, right? It's 186,000 miles across, and it's made of gases in a vacuum.
I'm not sure if the sun is made of gases, but
well,
go
what
ahead.
do you think the sun's made out of?
I have no idea. I haven't
Good answer.
researched into
Good answer. But they tell us it's made of hydrogen and helium, and they also tell us that the sun. Where is it? They say that every second in the universe, the sun loses 4 million tons of mass. This is what our mainstream science tells us. And again, mainstream science run by the government. We don't trust the government. Doesn't exclude extraterrestrials. Okay. Andromeda is getting closer to us by 110 kilometers per second. 60,000 new stars are born every second. 60,000 new stars are born every second. These are numbers and things that our mind can't even comprehend. And 120 new black holes are formed. A black hole, the definition is it has so much gravity, light can't even leave, but we can see it. How's that possible? Right? This is all scientific fantasy, complete and total nonsense. Right? So
I agree.
Okay, so
there are no foundations to those claims at all.
None whatsoever. So I'm just establishing common ground here, and I'm helping you see what I'm about to show you. Okay. And by the way, what I'm going to show you today is going to make your arguments stronger. It's going to make your understanding of your arguments way stronger. Right. And you're going to be a leader in this way of thinking. So if I had a box of air and I walked into a room that had no air, and I opened up the top of that box, the air is immediately going to evacuate and fill the empty space. Agreed? You can test it. Yes. We can test this. Now, if I had just a very, very little amount of air in that box, and I was in a room with no air, and I opened it, it's going to immediately equalize into the entire room, right? Yeah. Gravity is not going to hold that air down in the box and stop it from going out. We can test this.
I think in terms of gravity, I think there must be like another force that is at play.
I'm going to show you what we think gravity is, and then you can make up your own mind. But I'm going to show you evidence.
It's probably not gravity that's holding the air, but it's probably something else, another force.
But there's whatever it is, it doesn't work, because if we take in a vacuum chamber and we have a box of less air and we open it electronically, the air will immediately go out in any direction, up, including up. And we can test this in nature and in the lab and vacuum chambers, and the same thing happens all the time, except in outer space. In outer space, there's gas in a vacuum that decides to collapse upon itself and make a star. Gas collapsing upon itself? How much gas do you need before it collapses upon itself? Your entire understanding of the universe is a made-up story that you were indoctrinated with before you had the ability to reason. I don't know about in China, but here in America, one of the first worksheets we bring home in kindergarten is the orbits of the sun and the moon and the earth. And they teach us about gravity. And that's
400 years ago, people believed that Earth was the center of the universe.
100 years ago, people believe that.
100 years ago. I thought it's 400 years
ago. I love my camera's doing this funny focus.
Yeah,
there I am. My camera's unfocused, but today my eyes are focused because I'm wearing glasses. So I'm just showing you how ridiculous the story of the sun is. So here is so imagine this. We're gonna do one more example and then we're gonna move on. Imagine our sun, 186 million miles, is directly over you, and we bring it 1 mile over your head on Earth. 1 mile, okay? Mm-hmm. You look up, the entire sky is going to be filled with the sun, right? That's all you're going to see if it was 1 mile over your head, right?
Yeah.
And then as things move into the distance, they get smaller. Okay, so we move it 93 million miles away, where they tell us, and it's the size of a coin held at arm's length. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so at 93 million miles, it's now the size of a coin. If I doubled that distance, do you know how much smaller it would be? According to the inverse square law, it would be 1/4 of that size, right?
Yeah.
Double it. So at twice the sun's distance, it's 1/4 of the size. So now it's the size of a pencil eraser. If we doubled it again, so it's 4 times as far, it's now like getting pretty small. Like it would probably look like Jupiter looks in the sky, right? Double it again, 8 times as far. It's now probably the size of a star. Okay. Right. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. Right. So they tell us the sun is 8 light minutes away. Right. 8 light minutes. 8 times 8 is 64. So 8 times as far, we'll call it a light hour. If we double it again to 2 light hours, I claim you couldn't see the sun. It would be too small. It would be so tiny and so faint, you couldn't see it. That's 2 light hours. Let's make it 24 light hours, a light day away. It is scientifically provable that the angular size is too small, and the brightness, that's a whole nother issue. We don't even have to go there because you can't see it at 1 light day away. Well, why does this matter? So they tell us that the sun and the moon are, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times farther. That's why they look like they're the same size, right?
Yeah.
So size, scaling, and variance. So at a light day away, the sun is way too far for us to see it. How can we use that? They tell us Polaris is 46 times bigger than the sun. So if we made it 46 light days away, you couldn't see it. At 46 light days away, that's not even 2 months. Okay? 2 light months. So they tell us Polaris is 433 light years away, but I can see it with my naked eye. Right?
Is Polaris bigger?
Well, you know how much bigger? It would have to be so big it would eat the whole, it would become a black hole. I mean, it's so stupid how big it. So they're lying about what stars are. When we're taking our telescopes, our zoom cameras, and we're zooming in on a planet or the moon or a star, we don't have to change focus when we go from one to the other. They're all at the same focus. You can focus beyond it, and you can focus before it. But if I'm focused on the moon, I can move to Jupiter, I can move to Mars, I can move to a star, and they're all in focus. That's telling you something. I'm not telling you what the stars are, because I don't know. I like how you started. You said you don't know. And that's the honest answer of a true truth seeker. I don't know when I don't know.
Yes, I really admire you, especially when 9/11 happened. What do you think that is? What do you think that, who is behind 9/11? What do you think about it?
I want to keep this YouTube friendly, so I can gladly talk about that.
Got
But
it.
I'm gonna tell you, the 9/11 wasn't anything like they tell us. Write this down: stoplookthink.com. Stoplookthink.com, and there's a tab on the top that says September 11th, and all of the documentaries that they've been hiding from you that show you who did it, what happened, everything. They're all there. And that'll take you some time to go through. Stoplookthink.com. I don't know. Can you get to there from China? Will they allow you to get to the site?
Probably, yeah. They have ways to get around the government censorship.
Good for you.
But I really want to kind of get a general idea on how, like, you were like a solar engineer, like solar installation engineer.
I was not an engineer. I was a developer. We identified, financed, and constructed large solar projects.
I see. And do you think if there's a way we can really efficiently break the water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen?
You know, it's funny. I thought I have a little hydrogen water maker that makes hydrogen in my water. It's a little portable thing. It's my water bottle. It's awesome. And it gives you hydrogen water. Yeah, there's a way. There was a guy here in America, we had some sort of stage shooting up in Buffalo, New York, and a couple people got killed. And one of the guys that got killed in this fake, ridiculous shooting, real shooting but staged, was the guy that invented a water engine, an engine that runs on water. And there's two guys in America that one guy created a car that runs on water, could go across the country on like 3 gallons of water, and he was poisoned. He was poisoned and he's dead.
You're talking about Stanley Meyer.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, yeah. And do you know how he did it? I have a theory, but I have a hypothesis. It's not proven yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking like probably he used a resonant frequency, specific vibrational frequency to break the bond between hydrogen and oxygen.
Everything is frequency. Everything is done in frequency. So we live in a realm where everything has electrostatic charge. Everything's alive. The earth is alive. We're alive. Rocks are alive. Trees are alive. The clouds are alive. It's all alive. And we live on this dielectric plane inside this toroidal field. And we can't live anywhere else. Okay. Outer space is scientifically impossible. It doesn't get rid of ETs. It brings them closer. Okay. So I want to talk about gravity, and just get that out of the way, and then we can move on. So,
okay.
You know, we're told the sun holds on to all the planets all the way out to Neptune and Pluto, but it ignores our moon. It ignores our moon. When our moon is coming around the sun, around the Earth towards the sun, it should speed up and then it should slow down as it moves away. It should speed up and it should slow down, but it doesn't. It goes the exact same speed all the time, right? Which is
it really, does it really go like exactly the same speed around Earth?
That's what they tell us.
I have a issue or a problem with the data from about the distance between Earth and the moon.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really getting farther away from Earth. I think it's probably getting closer. If you look at historical data, thousands of years ago by observers, and I think, and I did put a request to NASA and also people who are in the field just to see if there are any recent data to show us that the moon is moving farther away from Earth, but no one responded to my request. I mean, I think there must be something going on there.
No one's going to respond to it because the moon isn't 256,000 miles away, nor is it 200 miles away. I think it's closer. I don't think it's a physical object, but that's a whole nother thing. We're going to be here for 5 hours, but I don't want to be here for 5 hours. I want to try to keep this inside an hour. We go a little longer if we're having fun. All right. So this is a rock in the middle of the day with the direct sunlight on it. And it's not casting a shadow. It's not lighting me up. I can't read my book by the light that's coming off of this, but I can read a book by the light that's coming off of this. And this little crater right here, Tycho crater, this guy right here, they tell us it's 40 miles wide, right? So go on Google Earth, put a 40-mile, red dot on the Earth, and then zoom out as far as you can. I think they only let you go out like 2,500 miles or something, or maybe 25,000 miles, whatever it is. You can't see it. It's too small, right? But we can see this with our naked eye every day, every time the moon's out, right? They're lying. Maybe the crater is, 500,000 miles wide. They're lying about all of that. And then if you look at the light of the moon, show you, hold on a second. So when you go out on a, this is how bright it is looking at it from Earth. But when the guys are on the moon, how come it's not bright? You know how much, as you get closer to the moon would get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And if you do the inverse square law, when you're 100 miles from the moon will be way brighter than the sun. But when the guys are on the moon, which they never were, sorry, neither were you guys. This is just a stage setup. This is just a lie. And all of this is to hide the truth from you. These aren't casting light out. This is casting light out. You can see your shadow on the ground because of the moonlight, right? And when you look at a full moon, it's lit up evenly edge to edge. But when you light something with a single source light, like the sun, you would have a specular highlight. And the moon never, ever, ever, ever shows a specular highlight, right? So also, when you have a nice bright moon up in the sky and you have some clouds, you'll see that the moon is only lighting up the clouds that are right near it, and all the other clouds over here are in the dark. If it was 250,000 miles away, it would light up all of the clouds if it could light up anything at all. Okay? but it's lighting these up like it's right above them. Now, I don't think that the moon is right above the clouds. I think we all see the moon and the sun in a spot relative to our own position. Let me explain what that means. We're kind of jumping all over the place, but I think it's important. So, all right. So I divided my room with a sheet. 10 feet on the other side of the sheet, I have a square light, which looks kind of round. It kind of looks like a sun or a moon, right? And I'm looking at it through it. Now, my wife is over here, and I say to her, I said, where do you see the light? Where do you see the light? And she points at the sheet. Let me move over, right? So from her point of view, let me move over. She sees it right here. So if I drew an X with a Sharpie right there on the sheet, she sees it over there at the same time I see it over there. We see it in a position relative to our own position in the way the sky, whether it's a dome or not, acts like a screen. So we see things relative to our own position. If you and I were on the beach, sun setting, the water is skimming across the water, I would see a line walking on the water to my feet. You would see a line walking on the water to your feet, but neither of us would see the other person's line. So we all have like a personal relationship with the sun, whole nother topic. All right. So where are we? I want to show you a couple other things. So, all right. So, oh yeah, we're talking about gravity. Gravity, very important. So they tell us that, the planets are holding on to everything. And when we have an alignment of all of the planets, we had a lot of them recently. How come things don't pull each other out of the way? You ever try to line up a bunch of magnets? They all start pulling on each other, right? How come Jupiter, when it gets lined up with us, doesn't tug us a little bit out? The sky is a perfect clock. It's more perfect than any Swiss watch because all time is set to the sky clock. The sun goes around, keeps track of the hours and the days, right? The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days. And then one day to reset the year, 365, right? And the stars keep track of the years and the seasons, right? Never once in history, right? So let me go over here a second. I'm going to come back to gravity in a second, but I keep coming up with other things. So, whoops, where are we? How come that's not showing? Give me a second. What happened to it? Give me a second. It's very important. There. I cannot see I want to show you how that works. What happened? Huh. Sorry about that.
Can I ask you a question? Like,
yeah, ask me a question while I'm trying to recover.
If someone takes on a boat or ship,
yeah,
and then sail through like from Africa through the Atlantic Ocean and to the Pacific Ocean, and just to where would that person go? I mean, just go as far as he can to the west.
They'd end up
Africa.
They'd end up right back where they started from. Right. So let me show you just real quick here. So they tell us that the Earth is doing this. This is the solar system, right? We're corkscrewing through space, traveling 4.5 billion miles a year. They tell us that 80% of our stars in the Milky Way galaxy are binary, which means they're orbiting around each other while they're going around the galaxy. So everything's moving. You know what parallax is? When you move, you see things at different angles, right? Never once in history have any two stars crossed each other's path.
Well, that happened before.
Never has it ever happened, except the wandering stars, which they call planets. Every star is exactly where it is every year. Never have they ever changed position due to parallax. Like we're looking at a constellation and we see the pattern, but one of those stars might be light years farther and light years bigger than the other one, according to science. There should be parallax. The one closer should move faster. Never, ever have two stars change positions when we're traveling through all of this space. Again, This does not negate aliens. It brings them closer. Extraterrestrials. We're getting there. We're getting there. So you're asking me about we're going to go to circumnavigation and we're going to get back to gravity and then we're going to hit the good stuff. Okay?
Mhm.
So here's Amelia Earhart. Well, let's start better than that. Circumnavigation. So on the flat Earth, this is the center. This is the North Pole, right? So this is the North Pole, and I have a magnet here, and I got a compass. The compass is pointing towards the North Pole, right? And we believe that there is a magnetic mountain, a magnetic force, whatever it is, and all compasses point to the north. If we lived on a ball, compasses wouldn't work, especially on the equator, because they'd be pulled in both directions. But they do work on the equator. They don't work in the outer south because they're too far away. So this is west. If you look carefully, this is west on the compass. So I'm in my boater plane. I'm dead reckoning 270 degrees west. I'm maintaining a steady compass course of 270 degrees. And look what's happening. I'm going to go right back to where I started from.
What if a person just keeps going south?
Good question. Now I'm going to go west. West are circles,
Okay.
equidistant from the center. Equidistant from the center. All right. West are circles. Now, if I try to dead reckon west, so I'm standing still, west is the way I'm lining this stick up. And as soon as I start moving, I'm heading south. Boom. The compass, the magnet's not strong enough, but any direction away from the center is south. But if you're at the North Pole and you got your back to it, no matter which way you go, you're going south. Every straight line is south. Now, if I went south on a globe, I should pop up over here. If I went south from Santiago, I should end up in Australia. But if you go south, nobody has ever circumnavigated the world south. Some fake explorers claim they have.
Really, is that really the case?
Yeah. Now look, I'm going north, I'm going north, I'm going north, up, and I'm continuing my straight line. I'm going south. The compass just did a 180. Now you'll find a couple people that claim they did, but we've taken those their what they said they did and everything, and showed that they absolutely did not go south. Maybe I have it right here. Spider tracks. All right, yeah. So this guy was gonna a bunch of years ago. The guy said he's gonna be the first person to circumnavigate south to north. And we're like, oh, great. And you can track him online. So he went from up here in the North Pole supposedly to Alaska, and then to California, and then out to maybe Hawaii and these other islands, and he went over here. He went to Santiago, and then he got to allegedly the South Pole. I think he just went right here. And then they said the weather was too bad, so they turned around and they went back up through Brazil, and they went all the way around, and we're like, oh, didn't do it. See? Guinness Book gave them the record for circumnavigating south. Suspicious? Weird, right? Weird. This is all he did on a flat Earth. He went up, over, down, turned around. This is all he did. This is his path on a flat Earth, right? This is the shoreline of our world, okay? Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. We live in the Antarctic basin. Second here. One, Antarctic.
So you're saying that the supposedly the alleged astronauts, when they're in space or maybe in deep space, looking at the Earth and see Earth as a sphere spinning around, and that's probably not true.
Well, it's definitely not true. I mean, I can show you them faking space all the time and the rockets. I mean, but what about the rockets and people and seeing stuff? That's not true. We'll get there. You're asking great questions. I thought you have a great open mind. All right. So here's the shoreline of our world. Large bodies of water at rest lie flat. That's something the science of water says they lie flat. Anything bigger than a cup of water will lie flat when at rest. No matter how you tilt the container, the water will remain level and flat, right? Water needs containment. Get rid of the side of the glass, side of a bathtub, side of a lake, side of of the ocean. The water is going to flow away. This is the shoreline of our world. It's called Antarctica. Antarctica is not at the bottom of a ball, right? Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. It contains our oceans. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Did you know that?
I kind of think water is held by gravity.
Well, I can prove that wrong because remember, we talked about space not being able to suck the air off.
Well, air is probably held by something else, like a different kind of force, but water is held by gravity. I think, just my personal.
But
Yeah.
okay, I mean that's a belief that has zero scientific support. Okay, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So imagine this: what if there's more land out here? What if there's more land? Now, here's the thing: I don't need to use any of this, anything beyond 60 degrees south where you're not allowed to go. We don't need to speculate what's out there. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe this is it. I don't need to speculate what's above the highest we can get, which is, I believe, about 72 miles. Because we can prove the Earth is flat here. There's no curvature. There's no axial rotation. You can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a vacuum. There's a million things, and we could spend all day there. But I want to, because of your background, because you're talking about extraterrestrials, I truly believe the stuff that I'm speculating on here. Okay? This is me. So what if they controllers cut this out, right? Cut it out, just cut out and said, this is Antarctica already, and we wrap it around a sphere. Okay? We wrap it around a sphere and we say, guess what? No one is allowed to independently explore out here. No one is allowed to independently explore except for the shoreline. You can take a very expensive trip to right here, and they'll show you some penguins, they'll show you some ice, but no one is allowed to go out here. Now, that's not just a continent. This is 13,000 miles around, they tell us. But anyone that's tried to circumnavigate it have gone over 68,000 miles. 68,000 miles. Doesn't that sound more like this? Because the equator, which is halfway right here, that's 25,000 miles. This makes more sense at 60, 70,000 miles. No one.
I think,
go ahead.
according to the theory of plate tectonics, Antarctica was a continent that was kind of in a location, was in a location near Australia before. And I think that's probably something that we should look into to see if that's true or not.
There's absolutely no proof of Pangea separating. There's no proof of any of that. That is just a story to make you believe in the globe model, right? And there's a reason they want you to believe in the globe model, because it keeps you trapped, right? You are looking for, your goal is disclosure, right? You want disclosure. You want the government to come clean on disclosure. Now, let's talk about space for a second, okay? And then we got to get to gravity. Let me get to gravity, but I'm going to talk about this one more time, all right? So the closest star than our sun is, I forget the name of it, but it's 4.5 light years away. That's about 25 trillion miles. 25 trillion miles away, we have a star, gas in a vacuum, burning somehow, right? And maybe there's planets around it. And let's say there's extraterrestrials that live on that planet. And let's say we have advanced technology and we're going to go visit. So we get in a spaceship that can go 1 mile per second, faster than anyone's ever gone, right? And we travel for, do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is? Take a guess. Take a wild guess.
Like, it's probably 1 billion years, or
no, well, that's actually better than most people guess. It's 31,000 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. So if we're traveling 1 mile per second for 31,000 years, we have to do that 24 more times to get to the closest star. But you know what? I'm good friends with Elon Musk. He's got a rocket for me, goes 100,000 miles an hour. Unfathomable. 100,000 miles an hour. It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get there now. Do you think that a alien race can travel through a space vacuum at speeds that are incomprehensible and then get here and crash in Roswell?
I mean, they don't travel that way. They travel using kind of similar to what they call transubstantiation, which is similar to transportation. I mean, just immediately moving from one location to another location without the loss of time.
Do you have any scientific evidence of this, or is this just a made up story?
Is according to the person, to the author of this book, who went to that planet and then came back. He was told that they use this way, but only when they were in deep space. to use kind of like similar to transport, like teleportation, to travel from one location to another location without the loss of time. And then he had a lot of specific verifiable facts that I found to be very interesting.
Well, when you say
Um,
verifiable facts, because of the truthful nature of their story, you have to make up something like that to make outer space even a viable option. So the mind will create stories and unsupported beliefs to support something that they believe to be true. You believe,
I can give you several examples.
go ahead.
Some of the facts. One is that this book was written back in 1991, and then it talks about the effects of blue light, having antibacterial, antiviral effects. And years later, Harvard University had a research paper showing that certain wavelengths of blue light have antibacterial, antiviral effects. And also this book talks about the um, Project Westford in the U.S. The U.S. government in the 1960s sent hundreds of millions of copper needles into space in order to improve the telecommunication signals. And then this book talks about that. The author, remember, the author of this book was like a farmer, a landscaper in Australia who had no college education and this is years before the age of the internet. There was just no way for him to
All right. So
search.
if I said you have $1 million in the bank and I'm going to double it for the next 3 days. So tomorrow you're going to have 2 million. The next day you're going to have 4 million. The next day you have 8 million. So what's today? Monday or Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Friday, you have $8 million in the bank. Is that true? No, it's not true. It's not true. Why is it not true? Because it started with a false premise. You said that they put needles in space. Who put needles in space?
The U.S. government. You can
NASA. So now we're going to spend 10 minutes. We're going to spend 10 minutes destroying NASA, right? This is NASA on the space station using layered technology. See the guy? He just came out of nowhere. Wait, why?
Is this like an AI or?
No. This is actual footage from NASA, right?
It doesn't look real.
This is from their everything. I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of things. The only thing that you can claim is that it's not real, but then you can go take the time, do the research yourself, right? He faded out. Watch here. This guy, something happens and we can see through him. So this just proves right there that whatever these clips are, whether I made them or NASA made them, they're using layering technology. Okay. Right. So this is NASA when they were approaching the space station, right? On the capsule, right? This is what they were showing. Okay. This makes no sense. Wait, how come it's not playing? Play. So they're on the spaceship. Why is it not playing? All right, here it comes. Right. And they looked out the window like, oh, we can see the space. Look at this. I mean, if you saw this in a movie, you would laugh. And what was that little anomaly? What's that? It's inside the window. This is horrible. This is from NASA. Okay. This is from NASA. Don't hold on. Don't comment yet. Okay. Right. And this is this woman showing us the closing of the, it's got a valve. It's got a rod that goes outside and it's closing this door. Right? How do you have a rod? What kind of gaskets do you have to keep that airtight? I don't think that's possible. But she's not even looking at it, and she's not even synchronized with it. She's doing it, and she's looking at a monitor as she's just following what the monitor is showing her. Another problem is she's in space for a very long time. Okay? Look at her face. How much makeup does she have on? Look at her hair, right? She's having a better hair day than you're having, but she's in space. She has to work out 2 hours a day. She's sweating. There's no showers. There's no shampoo. There's nothing. Look at her. Who does her makeup? That is impossible. All right. Here's another thing. This is what is this one? Let's look at this one. I haven't looked at this one in a while. This guy drops something and he catches it. Whoop, that's a pocket of gravity. They call that a pocket of
Can I
gravity.
see that one more time?
Okay. He drops something, oops, and he catches it. And then he looks around, he got very nervous. Right? And there's multiple times where we've caught them doing that. He catches it, oops, and he catches it. All right, that's interesting. Look, he's holding it. All right. And then which one is this? There's what happens there. Hold on, let's look at a couple others. Yeah. Oh, this guy, watch. He does his flip. The guy's reaching for a wire. He grabs a wire right here. Watch. He grabs it and he pulls him over. He catches them and he grabs his wire because they're on hooks. Now, why do they always do a forward or backwards flip? Why don't they spin and do-si-do and go around each other like that? They don't. Right? And immediately everyone's like, oh, look over here, look over there, don't look over there. And it's crazy, the amount of nonsense, right? And this guy, you can see the wires pulling on his shirt. And they're not even in the same room, right? So I got some clear ones, and I'm going to finish with a really good one, right? So the dragon capsule came up, and they had some fresh fruit. How come the fruit is just sitting on the table and not floating? How could it just be sitting there? Maybe they just put it down very carefully. I don't know, right? But they were playing with.
They're supposedly in space.
This is all on the International Space Station, right? So they were playing with a lemon, and it went and they grabbed it. This is called augmented reality. Watch carefully. This is not a real object. Watch carefully. Look at the hand. This is augmented reality, right? Look again. Go slower. Go closer. All right. So why are they faking it? That's 100% proof that they're faking it. Now, this is Don Pettit. He's like, oh, I made a coffee cup because we're tired of drinking out of bags and a way that the coffee sticks in there. And he's showing now this is done on a zero-G plane, or I'm not sure how they do it, but watch right here. Watch the coffee. Oh, it's out of sync. It's all CGI. It's out of sync. The coffee jumped out of the bag. I'll zoom in. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. There you go. The coffee jumps out of the bag. That's not
they should do a better job.
You're right. They should do a better. Very good. Very good. So this is Chris Hadfield, our Canadian astronaut. He loves singing. Right? He's got his guitar up there, and this guy's holding the microphone, but they're in different rooms because they're in different orientations. And he doesn't realize where Chris is. He stuck the microphone inside of his neck. The microphone is in Chris's neck. Right? And they're just trying to figure out, right? And they screwed up. Now, I like, people say, how come they're so bad? I'm like, do they do it on purpose? I don't know. I don't know whether they do it on purpose or not.
It's good that you're commenting American astronauts, so just never comment on the Chinese astronauts.
Oh, I'm going to comment on the Chinese next.
Don't. Because they're going to be blocked.
You just hold on. All right. Okay. All right. We won't call them Chinese. We'll just call it something else. Look, green screen. A green screen showed up. A green screen behind him. So I brought needles into space and did a test. Nope. They just told you a story about needles in space. And this guy based his entire philosophy on a fake thing because NASA has never been to space because space doesn't exist, right? They're showing this scene and something happened. Oh, no. These guys are talking and this guy goes floating by in the background. I zoom in. They forgot to block out the harness and the wire. This guy just goes floating by. And their response was, the NASA apologists, oh, well, they wear harnesses for safety. How? What? How? You're in zero G. What are you talking about? No one's ever mentioned that before. And the other thing is, this guy in the blue, you'll see in a second, he's flipping his hat around, right? They're always flipping something around. And in the script, he's supposed to hand the fake augmented reality hat to the guy in the green. But see, he's flipping the hat around. We're making go forward and backwards here. But he moves his arm, and he thought he was passing him the hat, and he goes to put it away. Watch this. Ready? Zoom out. So watch his right arm. He moves it. He's like, he thought he passed him the hat. So he goes, oh, and he puts it away. I'm just flipping it back and forth here. And again, if you watch, this guy gets super nervous. If you go watch the full thing, he gets super nervous. One more, right? This ball is filled with helium and air, so it just floats. It's a real ball. But look right here. Where did that come from? Watch again. It's not there, and now it's there. They even put a little Star Trek beaming in noise. So this is done with augmented reality. There's consumer. This is a consumer level one that you can get yourself, and that's all they're doing, right? So they're faking space. Any one of those should tell you right there that it's nonsense. You know, NASA does all their training. Oh, watch this. These guys were going at the end of the broadcast. Everything that was floating glitched out, and then they quickly cut away and went to mission control. Right? They glitched out, but the background didn't glitch out. Just the things that were floating. So that layer glitched out. Here's another one. This guy is going around the corner, and watch, he becomes transparent. You can see through his arm. I'll zoom in. Right? See his arm?
So what does NASA say about this?
NASA won't even comment about this. They won't comment, but there's many things that we have pointed out, and then they've gone back and fixed. Like we took the shot of the Earth from the moon, and we took it off their website. We let me pull that up. Moon missions. Where is it? We took it off their website, and live on the air, we took the Earth shot, and we went and we took the photo off, and we cranked it up in Photoshop. We cranked up the levels, and all of a sudden you can see that there's a square box around it showing that it was Photoshopped. Since then, they've taken the image down and they replaced it with a better one that doesn't have this square box around and showing that it was cut and pasted in sloppily by somebody that doesn't know how to use Photoshop very well. Okay.
I think we should build a website just to give
there's
there's
websites all about this stuff, right? I don't know if you guys can get my app, but my app it shows you all of this stuff. Now look, they landed on the moon. These guys are in this thing. There's so much about this. Who's filming? Who's panning up? And they left the nozzle on the lower part. So this thing is going to just boom and go up, and it's going to meet the orbiter that's going 2,000 miles an hour. Or how fast is it going? It's going like 2,000 miles an hour. It's going to just meet it. How's that possible? I forget the exact speed, but it's just going to meet it. And there's two guys in there, not in chairs, moving around. Like if you move in something, if you move in a boat, the boat's going to move, right? In space, there's nothing stopping that thing from tumbling out of control. All nonsense. Look at this background. Look at this. Who zoomed out? Who tuned up? How did they get the film off the moon? This is in the 1960s. We didn't have digital anything. Okay? It's ridiculous. Okay. All right. Let's do gravity, and then we're going to get into extraterrestrials. Right. So they tell us that gravity.
You're out of Zoom. You're out of.
Okay.
Right.
Woo. Boom. Hello.
Okay.
See, my camera needs glasses today, and so do I. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. So they tell us that we're crazy flat earthers because we think down is down for everybody. But in your heliocentric world, down is your feet towards the center while we're spinning in a scientifically impossible space vacuum. This guy's moving at 1,000 miles an hour because it's 1,000 miles an hour to go 24,000 miles in a day. This guy's moving at 500 miles an hour because he's making a smaller circle. And how come the centripetal force doesn't make him flip to the outside? Well, how come he doesn't, fall over to the right? Right? Because you're spinning. It's gonna, or no, should fall over to the left. He should fall over towards the equator, right? Stupid. It's just ridiculous, right?
I mean, they say that because the atmosphere is contained in
what? In what? In the gravity or whatever. There's a force holding the air down. You said that before, but I can take a straw at any altitude and I could pull air and water up and away from gravity with the weak low pressure system of my mouth and lungs. Makes no sense. Gravity doesn't have enough ability to stretch this balloon out. It's just holding the balloon there. If I turned up the gravity to 10 Gs, this bloom would probably start stretching because the gravity would be strong enough to stretch the rubber, right?
I mean, the whole thing is that I think we have more pressing issues than just Earth is round or flat or sphere or something like that.
Thank you for saying that because we're gonna get through this pretty quick now because I've got the foundation done. But this is the most important topic. It's more important than the oppression you're having in China, the oppression that we're having here in America, than starvation, than child trafficking, than food shortages. It's more important than all of that because, and I'll tell you that at the end. I'll tell you why it's more important. All right. So gravity should pull that down, right? If I turned up gravity 10 Gs, that would stretch out a little bit, right? Because the gravity is strong enough just to make it flop. If I made it 10 Gs, it would probably start stretching the rubber. Now, if I put some air in there, that air is trying to escape in all directions, including up. The air pressure is strong enough to stretch the rubber, but gravity doesn't stretch the rubber, the weak gravity that we have. Okay? Gravity, if I put a hole in the top, the air would go flying out the top. Okay? And that's because air is violently trying to fill the available space. All right? So Walter Lewin, who's a great professor, he says it's electric forces that hold our world together. Okay? Electric forces that hold our world together. So this is how our world works. The sun and the moon are small and they're close. They're part of this electrical system. They're the anode and cathode of the Earth battery. The salt water, not the fresh water, the salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. That creates a battery. We live in this free energy, toroidal field. We are electrical beings living in this electrical system. All right. So they tell us that, do you know about the three-body problem? The three-body problem is
that's just science fiction.
Well, but they can't model in a model three bodies orbiting each other because then they go into chaos mode. That's the three-body problem. No one's been able to do it, but in our solar system alone, there's 100 different gravitational objects, and they always remain perfect. They never tug on each other. They never tug on each other. This is trying to model three bodies of the same size, right? This is not even close to what our solar system is, right?
Oh, I was thinking about the novel you.
No. But getting back to your book, that guy that you said, space travel and what, based on something NASA did, I just destroyed NASA, so you can't use the foundation of that book. You can't, if you want to claim that book is real, then you have $8 million in your bank account this Friday. All right. So here are some leftover helium balloons we had at a party, and they're neutrally buoyant, and they're just holding. They're holding. This is a button we have on here, and it's just floating.
But I think there's one thing that even though NASA has a lot of fake footages, there got to be something that's truthful from NASA. So we cannot just because one fake footage just destroy
one. I just showed you 20, and that there's 10,000. There's 10,000. If we got into rocket launches, I could spend hours on rocket launches. All right, but hold on. NASA, there might be something that NASA tells us that's true. I can't find it, but so check this out. This is neutrally buoyant. You ever tie something to a balloon? It's just floating. It's floating. So this wire goes to a Van de Graaff generator. The Earth has a negative charge. Everything in the sky has a positive charge. So anything above the Earth is in that positive charge. Positive, negative attract. We know this. This is something that we can test. So we're going to add a positive charge to this. We're going to crank up the Van de Graaff generator. And as we add a positive charge, hold on, let's get it situated. So we're going to add a positive charge and watch what happens. It goes down. We increase the positive charge. We made it a higher positive charge. We negate the charge. As soon as we discharge it, it goes up. Now, can we do the opposite? The opposite is we have this tin foil and we put a negative charge in it and it goes up, right? Turn it off, turn it on, leave it on, it goes up. Negative and negative repel each other. Are we defying gravity or are we defying electrostatics? We're defying electrostatics here. There is no gravity. Again, MIT, you quoted them before. MIT, oh no, you said Harvard, sorry, created the silent drone. No moving parts, no propellers. They just have it as a solid negative charge and they can control how it flies, right? So are we defying gravity or electrostatics? So I just proved to you that electrostatics are real. NASA tells us, not NASA, science, the science world tells us that electrostatics are real, they admit it, are 10 to the 39th power stronger than gravity. 10 to the 39th. That's a number that your mind cannot comprehend. Because remember a trillion seconds, 31,000 years, that's only 12 zeros. 1,000 times that, and then 1,000 times that is only 18 zeros. You have to do that all the way up to 36 zeros. So what they're telling us is gravity is zero. Gravity is non-existent. Gravity doesn't work. They have to make up 96% of it with dark matter and dark energy. Because if you had a theory, that whatever, and it was 96% wrong. I don't know why that keeps doing that. It's 96% wrong. You throw out the theory. You don't just make up some nonsense, but they can't. They need gravity, because without gravity, they lose everything. Right.
So what do you think? Why they do this?
Why do they lie? Right. This is all about controlling humans. Right. And we'll get to that in a minute, because I want to just show you. We're going to get into why the lie, which goes right to extraterrestrial.
Do we only have 60 minutes, or do we have longer?
Yeah, we can go longer. Are you okay going a little bit longer?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let me see if I go like that and then pull back. There we go. All right. So this is a picture from NASA. NASA gets $80 million every single day. $80 million. You can live the rest of your life on $1 million. Okay. $80 million every day to make this, right? Well, I think the Earth should be bigger, so I made that. I don't get $80 million a day. I don't even have Photoshop, right? And I even put myself on the moon, and then I said, you know what? I want 2 moons, 2 Earths, right? So I can fake this as easy as NASA. NASA's faking everything. There's nothing NASA does that's real. Nothing, just so you know, right? All right. So I want to get into Earth. Here are people say, oh, you can't Photoshop that. Let me just show you this. This is a photograph or a painting. Is that a photograph or a painting? Is that a photograph or a painting? Right? They're all paintings. Those are all drawings. Those are not real. Those are not real. Right? So this is a painting. It's not a photograph. Right? And then people say, well, how would they paint this? Look at this. I think a 5-year-old could paint this. This is ridiculous. And as you go up higher and higher, the Earth becomes muter and muter, whiter and whiter, because you're looking through so much atmosphere. It's not brilliant colors like this from 1,000,000 miles away. It would be a white ball if it was a ball. But as we go up, we see things that are getting, this is 127,000 feet. The whole Earth is white. You can't see anything, right? And look at the sun. It's right here. And look at the hot spot. Like, it's close. How come it's not lighting up over here? It's a hot spot right there. It kind of looks like this, whatever it is, isn't that much higher than the friggin' balloon. So getting back to, now we're getting into, I want to get into what you want to hear about. So I wish my app was working on the screen, but it's not, unfortunately. So this is the United Nations. Whoops, that's not what I want to show you again. This is the United Nations map. This is the flat Earth map. What's out here where these leaves are, right? That's the United Nations map. This is the World Meteorological Organization, another controlling entity, flat Earth map, right? International Civil Aviation, flat Earth map. And this is the actual flat Earth map, right? So you got all of these maps. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. But this one's not good. Okay. That's what they tell us. Why are they using our map for these logos? I don't think it doesn't prove anything. Maybe they just thought it's cool. Pretty weird. This is the United Nations building. I think it's in Africa. Pretty weird. Looks like I see a lot of 6s in there. And they're showing that. Interesting. Doesn't really prove anything, right? This map was in all encyclopedias, all libraries, everything up until the 1950s when they pulled it and they hid it. And no kid in school ever gets exposed to this map. This map actually shows the world is close to the way that it is. All right, close to the way that it is. And uh, I can get into southern flight routes, which make no sense
There
on a
must be someone who just sailed around Antarctica and
yeah.
must be.
Captain Cook did it, and it took him 3.5 years, and he went over 68,000 miles. Antarctica, right? He went over 68,000 miles. How about that? Trying to find a picture of it. Where is it? Captain Cook, Admiral Byrd. No. Admiral Byrd, who did Project High Jump in the 1950s when they discovered, I think that's when they discovered the ice wall, the dome, if you will. This is him. Look, the flat earth map with a clock. The sky is a perfect clock, right? So this is a map, a Japanese map that was found 10 centuries old, showing all of these lands out here. Now, is this real? Is it a cartoon? I don't know. But they're talking about more lands beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. Remember, they cut this out, they wrapped it around a ball, and they said there's nothing else out there. Well, let me ask you a question. If let me get a better image for you. Snaps. Go. So this is one of our airports, Dallas Airport. This is the TSA where they check you. You know, you have to. They're guarding. Look, they're guarding Antarctica. This is the world, and they're guarding Antarctica. Pretty weird. I don't know. Maybe somebody had a sense of humor, but it's pretty interesting, right? So let me ask you a question. What if the world? Now, I'm not claiming that the world looks like this, but I'm saying, what if the world looked like this? What if we lived here? This is our world. This is Antarctica. And out here is more land. Another word for more is extra. And another word for land is territory, extra territory. If somebody lived,
it must be very easy just to fly over Antarctica and see what it is like. And I think there
it would
must
be, but no country will allow you to. No country will allow you to fly over Antarctica. No country will allow you to fly over Antarctica.
I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense that no one has really flown to like over Antarctica and to take a look. It's just
No, it doesn't make any sense, but no one will allow you to. Isn't that interesting? Nobody will allow you to.
Are you sure you have done a lot of research on this? I mean,
We've done. So there's a thing called the Antarctic Treaty. There's a thing called the Antarctic Treaty, and I'm just trying to find something here. Damn it. Antarctic Treaty, and it says nobody can independently explore, and all of the countries in the world signed up on it. All the countries in the world agreed.
There are scientific research stations in Antarctica, and
yes, there are.
Just
let me show you them. Give me a second. I'm just trying to, because I want to.
And I remember some people claimed they reached the South Pole, and then
they claimed it, but how would you know that you're there? Like if they took you there, they took you out south past the shoreline of Antarctica for quite a distance, and then they show you, oh, this is the South Pole. Compasses don't work there.
I mean, compasses must work somewhere near the South Pole. I mean, that's probably something that's worth looking to.
Yeah, they don't. We have guys out there. There we go. Now I got what I need. We have guys out in the South Pole, in the South area. Hold on a second. That. Here. Sorry, guy. And transition. There, now you can see. So nobody is allowed to go to Antarctica. at past 60 degrees south, right? That this pink line is 60 degrees south. And they did Project High Jump, and then they came up with the Antarctic Treaty, and all the countries in the world signed on it. Nobody's independently allowed to explore out there. And we have all of these countries, all of these places here, all of these islands. These are run by the UN, and there's warships there. And if you try to go south, they will stop you. They will stop you. There's some fishermen that tried to go south, and they were stopped by a warship. Let me pull up the video for you. Where is it? Here we go. Fisherman. Get rid of that first. That. There we go. All right. So these guys tried to go where they weren't allowed to go. I'll just fast forward here. And all of a sudden, there was a warship showed up, and it radioed them. It said, "You're in restricted areas," and it literally came down upon them. I think it sent a drone out after them, and it made them turn around right away. It made them turn around, and they didn't want them going out there. Why? They were just fishing, okay? No one is allowed to independently explore Antarctica. Nobody can fly over Antarctica. And I agree with you. They're like, why can't we? There's a video that YouTube won't serve you. It's on my app under Antarctica. It's called "Sorry, Antarctica's Closed." One of our lawyers, a flat Earth researcher who's a lawyer, he did all of the research, made all the phone calls, sent all the letters. You can try to explore Antarctica. It'll cost you a couple $100,000 in requests and permits. They'll turn you down, and they keep your money. Okay, they will not let you go beyond where the shoreline is. Here's a shoreline of Antarctica, right? Shoreline of Antarctica. This is the shoreline of Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest plateau on Earth. It contains our water. It contains the world. It contains the world oceans. So, here we go. Captain Cook. No, that's wrong one. I could show, there's so much more I want to show you. But getting back to, let's go back here. Let's go back.
What about the people in the research stations? Like,
oh, yeah. That's what I want to show you. Go ahead.
Have they explored the continent?
No, they don't. And we have there was an army guy, 94 years old. Someone was working at his house, and they started talking, and he said, "Oh, I worked in Antarctica," and they were questioning him, and he said, "Well, I'm not allowed to talk about what I saw until I have a non-disclosure until I'm 100 years old." Right, 100 years old. And he said, "I can tell you one thing: there's cities of people, of millions of people that live in Antarctica that are not allowed to communicate with the inner world." Right? Interesting. Again, hearsay, just a guy saying it, could be senile old man. But I was going to show you, what was I going to show you here? The bases, right? Another interesting thing is these mountaintops are all called Dome A, Dome B, Dome C. Very, very strange. Here are all of the bases, right? If you chart them, the locations in relations to the other land masses, they're just here along the shoreline. They're just here. They just call them, whatever they call it. They say, "Oh, this is South Pole Station and whatnot." That is ridiculous, right? I'm trying to show you. There was some guys that went out there. Oh, here's another thing that's interesting, right? On Google Earth, on the web version of Google Earth, we can take the measuring tool and say, all right, how big is South America? It gives us the square miles of South America. Perfect. Beautiful. Right? We can go around Antarctica and watch what happens when we go around Antarctica. It inverts. What is that? Why is it doing that? Think about what we did. We took Antarctica and they wrapped it around a ball. So it's trying to measure, but it's confused. Right?
Did you go over? I see there's a breaking point or the unconnected point.
Yeah. Because we went all the way around, but it measured it. So it's measuring the area out here. It's not measuring this, right? Watch more. Well, now we'll go up to the north and we'll try the North Pole, and we go around the North Pole. and watch what happens. It won't measure it. It's doing this. It's like, wait a minute. Let's try something else. So we'll measure just Greenland. Works perfectly. Measures Greenland.
So North Pole and South Pole, the Antarctica, they're doing the same thing. They invert.
Yeah.
So doesn't North Pole should be like? This must be something wrong with Google Earth measuring system.
But isn't it interesting that two places that we're not allowed to explore physically, you can't explore virtually? There are no photos of Antarctica from space, from high altitude photos. They're all cartoons. There's no photos of Antarctica whatsoever, right? There's no photos of Antarctica whatsoever. So check this out. This is an old encyclopedia somebody found, 1954 and 55, right? And here it says, Antarctica Polar Explorer, 1954, 1955, blah, blah, blah. It says the trip took 22 days. Okay, what? 22 days. So this is from where they started to, they call this base Little America, is 2,000 miles. All right. So that's from here to here, right? And if we look at this, the expedition made extensive flights covering all of the Antarctic coasts. Why are they only staying on the coast? Why aren't they going inland, which is really outland, right? So let's take a look here. This is what it looks like. So they started here, right? This is where they started from. And they went from here over to what they call Little America. So we'll scoot over, right? This is just using Google Earth. They go all the way over to right around here somewhere, right there, right? And then they went to South Pole Station, supposedly, there, and then they went back, right? And what does that really look like? So if we look at that on a flat Earth, hold on, let me get to it. This is all that it was, right? This is it, right? They just went like this off of this. This is just the side of Antarctica. They just went from here to here to here to here. They never went out here.
I heard someone really crossed the Antarctica continent from one point over to the other point, like across South Pole. I heard someone did it. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't really do a lot of research on this.
Right, but well, you did hear that, and it was Colin O'Brady. And if you go on the frequently asked questions page of the app, and we go to Antarctica, and is it Antarctica right here? Oops, I can't actually open that. It's Colin O'Brady. We charted where he went. It's the same thing. He went like from here to here to here, and then back to here. That's all he did. They're just going here. Nobody's going out here. You should be able to go from Santiago to Australia if the Earth was a globe. Nobody's ever done it. And the fact that they lied about it, the people that claim to have done it have lied about it, right? So just coming back here, we'll go back to images, maps. Remember, I showed you this map, right? This is an old map, right? Whoops, I didn't transition. Sorry about that. All right, so we're here. Extra land, extra territory. If somebody lived on the extra territory, what might you call them? Extraterrestrial. And if they came to visit you from out there, where are they coming from? The outer space. This is not light years away. This is not 28 million miles. This is just a couple thousand miles. This is transferable.
The language of English, but in other languages, they have different connotations.
Okay, well, but I'm just saying, NASA is literally the head of, by the way, JAXA, MAXA, all of the other space. Oh, we didn't go to to the unnamed country space station. Hold on, let me just pull
Okay,
that
let's
up.
take a look.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Let's
look
take a look.
at
Yes,
the
please.
unnamed space station. This is
Okay.
the first video we got from them orbiting the Earth. Look at this.
Okay.
This is the first one from the unknown country, and
Okay.
you know, this is what is this one? This is them launching, but let's see where does this one go? I forget.
Let's just say Japanese.
Yeah, well, we want to. Yeah, it's Japanese. It's Jackson.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
it's
call them
Jackson.
Japanese.
Okay, and then we see all these people, but if you analyze and look at these people, they're not even looking in the right place. They're not even looking at this. It's so stupid, right? And
Yeah.
when you really get into that, and then here's another issue. They're doing an experiment, so they're all floating around. There's a glass of water on the table. A glass of water. How do you have a glass of water in space?
Is that like is there like a top?
There's a cup with a glass of water.
Wait, is there a way to zoom in? I don't know if this is sealed or is it just
No, it's open because they do an experiment with it.
open?
They do an experiment with it. Here, maybe that's better. It's a glass of water where they push a ping pong ball in it and the ping pong ball doesn't float up. Okay. And maybe this is better. So the glass of water is right there.
Is this on Earth or is it just
No,
space?
on the space station, right? And that's another thing. You know, the America with the International Space Station, it's an incredible construction project. Amazing. They built the thing in space. They have no video of it being built, no photos of it being built. It would be the #1 video thing ever because Mission Control would be like, all right, move that over this, connect this. But these guys out there floating in space, pooping in their own diapers, you know, and they're connecting these things. And one country made this, another country made the other piece, and they didn't make them so they fit. So they had to build an adapter. They literally had to build an adapter, and they never built this thing on Earth. They only built it in space. They never tested it on Earth. It's been up there for 20 years. Who's cleaned the bathroom in 20 years up there? Right? How do you poop? Here we go again. How do you poop in zero gravity into a plastic bag toilet? Okay. On my channel, DITRH, right there, that's my YouTube channel. There's a video called I Have to Go to the Bathroom. Funniest thing you've ever seen. Right? And it's really unbelievable. Think about it. In space, your stomach acid is floating all over. You would not have normal bowel movements. You would have what we call explosive diarrhea. You would have an upset stomach all the time, but they're pooping into a bag on a toilet, into a bag. Then they take the bag off and they close it and they push it down with a stick. And then they put another bag in there for the next person. There would be poop everywhere, right? Again, do the research in the NASA. You'll realize that everything they say is fake.
Speaking of this, can they just can do a simulation or imitate the gravity on Earth? I mean, just make gravity in the space station so that they can feel to be like on Earth.
So they're talking about on future spaceships that they'll be able to create gravity by electrifying the floor, by making the floor a negative charge, and then we'd be attracted to the top of it, just like we are on Earth, right? They're talking about creating, you have two plates, Gaussian plates, and if you made one negative and one positive, you'd be attracted down. All right. So
let's talk about how like we can help the people. I mean,
I am. Last one I want to talk about is this, right? What if we lived here? What if we lived here? This is us. And there's other extra worlds out here. And this is the true end of our pond. Okay. This is the true end of our pond. But out here are other ponds. Okay. Other ponds. These are other worlds. Okay. So in the book you were talking about, that person went to another world. What if they were just taken from here to here? Couple tens of thousands of miles. Big deal. Right? What if they were just taken here? If you want to believe in extraterrestrials, they're coming from here. All of these pieces of the plane, which we call a planet, right? A piece of the plane. This is scientifically possible versus, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm saying this is a possibility versus outer space, which is scientifically impossible. It's ridiculous. It breaks every law of physics. It keeps your mind lost in space, and you never find out that this entire system, is the center of creation. We don't live in an expanding universe. They tell us our universe is expanding, I think, 1 billion miles a minute or 1 billion miles a second, something stupid like that. They tell us the universe is 14 billion years old, but they said they found a planet or a star that is 24 billion light years, 24 billion, it's 24 billion light years away. How's that possible? It can only be 14. That's the farthest anything could be. If the universe is only 14 billion years old and it started off as a single spot and it exploded and it's expanding, how could it be farther than the age of the universe?
What do you think when they launch kind of space stations or maybe launch into space? What happens over there?
It's all fake. None of it's going up. Let's take a look at rockets real quick. I'll help you understand. Sometimes they launch something, sometimes they don't. When they launch something, it's usually a helium-assisted rocket, right? It's usually helium. What's this one? Oh, that's not what I want to show. Give me a second here. Rockets. Here we go. 1 second. So we got this is you know SpaceX, which has replaced NASA here in the United States, right? SpaceX. Are you familiar with SpaceX?
Yeah.
Right. So this is a rocket. They're testing it. It's going to go to Mars. Now, use your God-given common sense here. Okay. This thing takes off. Now watch, edit. We got the rocket view and then we got the ground view. So now look at the angle we have the rocket. Look how slow it's going. This little flame is pushing it up. Then we're going to have a far view. And then we're going to have a close view. Now look how high it is. It's not that high because we can see the side. Look at the angle, right? Ooh, it's pretty high all of a sudden. It's not that high. And now look, the engines are already burning out. And now look how high it is. This is actual footage. Now it's falling. It's already falling. Look how fast it's falling. Look at the smoke and watch. And as soon as they edit it, watch the change of speed. Ready? Edit. Look at the smoke. How fast is this thing falling? What is this? Is this a balloon? Is it fake? It isn't. Whoa, look how high it is now. Amazing, right? This is in sequence. Now it's falling. Now look, it's falling, but the angle isn't changing. Like what? Whoa, now it's up. Now look how high it is all of a sudden. Okay. I didn't take any of this out of sequence. Now watch. 3 engines are going to turn on. It's magically going to stand up. 2 of the engines are going to burn out. Cameraman's going to get underneath it. Watch. 3 engines are on. It's going to land upright. Now watch. 2 of them on their little fireworks display. Well, now we got 1 engine off center, and it's going to land upright with a whole bunch of CGI smoke. And it's going to land upright. And look at the shape. They love their phallic symbols. Does that translate? Okay. So this is ridiculous. Your common sense is telling you this is fake, but your ego is going, it has to be real because if it's not real, space travel is not real. And this is ridiculous. And the other thing is, this thing is gigantic, right? This thing is massive. It's like 15 stories high, or maybe it's even higher than that. It's gigantic. I thought I had a picture of it. But it is gigantic. And this little flame, this little thing, this is stupid. This is just making you understand, making you believe in nonsense. All rockets, they go up and they crash into what we call the Bermuda Triangle, where no boats really want to go because boats disappear in there for some reason. Okay. So it crashes into the ocean.
Not really, because the triangle is really not a triangle. It's like there are planes, there are ships that go into that area. It's just certain planes near.
They do, but here's the thing, where everyone's familiar with the legend. So let's say there's a boat that was out there during a launch and saw something that it shouldn't have seen, proving that NASA's faking it. Oh, that boat sank. And everyone will be like, oh, they were in the Bermuda Triangle. So they made a story already in case they ever get caught, so they can disappear somebody really easy. All rocket paths do the same thing. They all go up and they curve out. And they're supposedly going over the curve of the Earth. But wait a minute. How small is the Earth? Watch an airplane. It'll fly straight forever. And we know that it's not. It's supposedly following the curve of the Earth, but it's flying straight and level. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane, right? They want you to believe this is going on when this is going on. Okay? This is nonsense. This is all fake. So getting back to the my whole point of this was, and there's a million other things, seasons, sunsets. We can talk into all that. Sunset over the water. How does that work on a flat earth? We've explained all of that. I could show you all of that, but we'll be here all day. But this, this is why am I showing you that? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. If you want to believe in extraterrestrials, this is much more believable than outer space. Now, if there was someone's abducted and they were taken to what planet were they taken to? You told me in the book.
Jehovah.
Say again.
Jehovah.
Okay. Let's say this is that planet. All right. It's right there. It's right here. It's doable. You don't have to fold space and time. You don't have to use needles that were brought into space, something that was based off of a fake experiment. You don't have to do any of that. It's all here. The secret space program is here. It's the secret propulsion program. In America, we have the XRT-3B or whatever, triangular craft. It flies on electrostatics. It levitates and pushes itself forward with what I was demonstrating with you before, electrostatics, which are 10 to the 39 stronger than gravity, the alleged gravity. So everything you're talking about, as far as extraterrestrials, experiences, sightings, all of that's happening here. It's happening here. Here on Earth. Across the Earth plane. Interesting. It's interesting, right? You can give me an interesting. Look, this is whoa. This is a featured video. That's not what I'm showing you. So the sun goes around once a day. So right now, for me, I live right here. So it's a little bit, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon because the sun is past me already. For you, where are you? You're in China, right?
In Los Angeles.
Oh, you're not in China. So the sun isn't even noon in Los Angeles. Here's Los Angeles, right? Was that racist for me to say you're in China? I just assumed. Okay. All right. But look, the sun is right here. It's approaching you. It's still to your east. In a half an hour, it'll be right above you. I mean, it's not going to be above you because it's away, because it's south. The sun migrates in June. It'll be in here, and in December it'll be out here. It migrates in and out. It goes around once per day, right? The sun goes around once per day, and it laps the moon every 28 days. So it's getting a little farther from the moon each day. And so the position of the moon and the sun keeps track of the hours and the days, and the moon keeps track of the weeks, right? And then if I turn the stars on, the stars, which never change their position in this beehive galaxy of yours, spiral solar system, they are the perfect timekeeper. They lap the sun once every 365 days. So the sun will slowly drift back into this zodiac for about a month, and then it'll drift back into this one. It's traveling with the stars, but the stars are just getting they're just moving ahead a little bit at a time, and the sun will drift back through each zodiac. None of this makes any sense on a heliocentric world. Extraterrestrials make no sense in a heliocentric world. They make perfect sense on a flat level stationary plane. Every test in all of history for axial rotation, curvature, everything has proven to the opposite. It has proven the opposite. Let's just look at something real quick. So
the people who go on into space, and then when they look at the Earth, when they shoot pictures, Earth does seem to be like a spherical object.
Didn't I just show you that NASA's lying? Didn't I just show you?
I mean, it's not from NASA, it's from other people. Just not NASA.
Other people. Who?
Like people have gone to space, like Richard Branson. I mean,
yeah, liars.
Like
they're all liars. All the billionaires are into space. Isn't that weird? It's a money laundering thing. Space. Oh, and we have to get into why. But the space industry is more than all of the music industry. That's private music, Spotify, everything, concerts, all of the movies, DVDs, home rentals, movie theaters, and all of gaming, which is huge. All of those three added up together are
I mean,
less money than space
I think
every
it just
year.
takes a lot of efforts to make everyone lie like
Well,
this. Something that's not
you're
of
you're right, but
something.
so these are different pictures of the Earth. So either
It
eight of
really doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter a lot whether
I'm
Earth
gonna
is flat or
I'm
not.
gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it matters right now. But if these are all from NASA, so at least 8 of them have to be fake because they can't. 2 of them can't be real because they're nothing like each other. But all 9 are fake. And if you look, this is the United States. Where's the rest of the world? It's all on the other side. Okay, everything is on the other side. It's absolute insanity. So why would they lie, right? Because they're lying about everything. And if they lie and make you feel insignificant, make you feel like you're lost in space, make you think that you need government to control you, make you think that we're running out of population, we're running out of space. There used to be trillions of people on Earth, trillions, I think. All right. This is evidence showing that. If they make you feel insignificant and don't realize that there's more, then they can control you, right? Your thoughts and your imagination create your reality, but they've limited your imagination. They've literally taken it and hidden it by putting you on a
I mean, having great imagination is good, but it doesn't mean that the imagination necessarily reflects the truth.
No,
I mean,
absolutely. But anything you have in your life, right? The books that you've written, if you've written any books, the shows that you do, you imagined it, you think, you do the work, you put it together, and all of that is your creation. It's your thoughts create your world. Look at this. Let's just follow this for a second. What if they took the world and they said, okay, I'm just showing you an example of America, and they cut it out, right? They wrapped it around a sphere and they said, this is where you live. This is all that there is. So for people in America, this is all that there is. And you can't explore this white spot down here. You can go anywhere out here. So if they try to go offshore, they can go offshore a little bit, but then they'll get to a point where a ship will say, nope, you can't go.
it would make more people to explore Antarctica.
Well, no one, but people want to, but you can't, right? There's 100 companies that'll take you there, but they only take you to that tip and you can't go anywhere. But if this was the world, they did the same thing. We live right here inside of the Antarctic ring. They cut it out. They wrapped it around a sphere.
There are 10% of the people who are not followers. They're against their leaders. They want to explore Antarctica if this is true.
Yeah, well, there's tons of people, but nobody can do it. They're not allowing anyone to do it. No one's allowed to independently explore Antarctica. It's a prison for your mind, the globe.
Do you know how hard it is for them to buy out everyone and to make them lie like this?
Well, most people aren't lying. Like you're defending the globe right now, and you're not paid off. You've been well indoctrinated like everybody else, like we all were, but we were able to break the spell, right? So the true power of your mind is understanding that you are at the center of creation. They're hiding God. That's what they're doing. They're making it so you don't. Though you think that God just created.
I mean, they cannot pay everyone who go on space and pay everyone off. They just
all of the
it.
space agencies are in it together. They're all in it together. JAXA, NASA, all of them. They're all in it together, and they're doing the same thing. It's a money laundering jobs program.
I personally think that they may fake certain footages, in which I think they did. For example, the landing on the moon. And I think, but some of the footages, they just cannot fake all the footages.
Like what? Name one footage that you think is real.
I think some of the pictures taken by Hubble or some of the other telescopes.
So what's the new telescope? The James Webb. So yeah. Here's a picture from James Webb. Okay, James Webb. This is pretty cool, right? Is this James Webb or did I make it?
I think it's James Webb.
Is this James Webb or did I make it? Look, I just added some more photos, more stars in there. Would you ever have known it? Okay, I added all of those to that James Webb one. This is one that I made myself, right? So here it is again, right? And again, I made some of these. I can't remember which ones I made because they look just like James Webb. Some of these are mine. Some of these are James Webb, right?
I mean, it's just like taking a picture of an apple. You can have a picture of an apple. You can
Right.
do a Photoshop and make
But
an apple.
this was a free program on my phone. I did this and I created pictures just as good as James Webb, right? But the other thing you're forgetting is we just talked about how far we could see the sun and Polaris. You couldn't see any of these at these distances. None of them are real. This is just showing you, yeah, I made this one. This is the one that I made, right? But you wouldn't know the difference. So you think, because you have faith, because you love space, right, that this stuff is real. It's not. You have to verify and prove everything. And look, I'm in space. Didn't even know that. Look at that. Okay.
But how can you prove that James Webb's pictures are fake?
They need to prove that they're real. I don't need to prove that they're fake. I'm showing you. They're coming from NASA, the people that fake lemons on space and wires and
They have ways to prove they're real, but you have to prove that they're fake.
That is not actually, that is not true. You have to, the claim of proving is in the person that's making the claim. The person that claims it actually has to prove it. So I want to just show you the launch of the James Webb. James Webb. So this is the launch of the James Webb. Now let me ask you a question. So I think this is the one I want to show. So it launches, it goes up. Then they quickly switch to animation. Very cool, right? Animation. Everyone's wearing their masks. Very nice. That's not the one I want to show you. All right, here. This is the separation. So the James Webb, this is what they're showing us, okay? This is what they're showing us. Let me just fast forward. So this is the separation. Watch carefully, right? It goes out here, and then it's going to deploy the telescope, right? Oh, yeah, this is the actual footage right here. This is what they're showing us. Look how crappy this is. And look, they're losing signal. Now, this is still right over the Earth. This is just, I don't know, a couple hundred miles up. The Earth is right there. And they're losing signal already. That just makes it more real, right? And I'm going to just fast forward a little bit. It goes out here. It's deploying the telescope wing, right? I have a question for you. They just deployed it here. It's got to go 1,000,000 miles away and park itself in a fictitious Lagrange point, a point where the gravity is equal between the sun and the Earth, and lock itself into that position. How's it going to get there? How's it going to get there? And how's it going to stop in that position? And by the way, when the Earth is orbiting, it's changing its location to the sun constantly by thousands of miles, by millions of miles. Okay. And so how does that stay in that Lagrange point? Here's the thing, Samuel. This is painful to understand, that your entire life belief in space and everything is a complete and total lie. And your ego is going to do everything you can to hold on to these childhood beliefs. We were all there. But when you take the time and effort and really look at this stuff, you find out that these conferences that you're going to, they're all wrapping it around the wrong paradigm. They have great information. Contact in the desert.
If I were you, I would fly into space and take a look.
How could I do that? Nobody goes to space. There is no space. There is no space.
There are like ways you can go into space. Or
how could you go into space? How can you go into space that doesn't exist?
Get on a balloon or something like that. Yeah.
A balloon.
Mm-hmm.
A balloon. We've sent balloons up. Here's a whoop. That's not it. We sent a balloon up to 127,000 feet, and this is what we see. This is it. Right?
Go up a little bit higher than that.
You can't. Nobody can get up higher. So check this out. With some amateurs sent up a rocket. It cost millions of dollars. It's called the Red Bull. Oh no, not the Red Bull space jump, but I'll show you that one in a second. So where's my rockets? Rockets. There it is. So this one is called the Go Fast rocket, and this rocket went off, and it gave us an uninterrupted, no edits, different view. It's one edit, right? This is a little sped up, and it's spinning around. And at 72 miles, it goes kerplunk. It goes right into like a plasma. You hear this kerplunk and it stops spinning and it's floating. It's so weird how it happened, right? So it's floating there. And what was very, very interesting is as it turned on its side, all of a sudden we could see the moon. Okay, that's very interesting, right? So watch, here comes the moon right there. There it is. That's the moon. Earth is looking a little flat, but there's the moon. Why is that so interesting, right? Because this is where it took off from, Arizona, right here at 11 a.m. Here's noon, sun, and the moon was all the way over Australia. So if I take Arizona, that rocket was a fraction of a millimeter above this ball, and the moon was below the ball.
Mm-hmm.
How did they see the moon?
I mean, it's
you have to make up a story if you're going to come up with a reason that they saw it other than the earth is flat. Because whatever you're going to say is a made up story to defend an unsupported position. Do you know what Bitcoin is? You guys have Bitcoin in China? Of course you do.
Yeah, they do.
It's at $70,000 today. I think 72,000. 3 Bitcoins for you for one proof we live on a globe. Maybe that'll motivate you to look and prove me wrong. But if you do look, you're going to find out that it's all not, you're going to find out that the earth is flat. Here's the other thing. If you Google flat earth Dave, David Weiss, flat earth proofs, you're going to get fed government propaganda. You're going to fed all of the stuff that doesn't relate to what you're looking for. It's going to be nonsense. But if you go to my website, flatearthdave.com, there's tons of videos there. There's a crash course there, which is a list of videos that are being hidden from you. Watch those videos. And by the way, once you accept the fact that we don't live on a ball in space and space is fake, extraterrestrials, disclosure, all of the stuff that you're talking about comes closer to home. It comes closer to home. I believe an extraterrestrial can leave in the morning, come here, abduct somebody, have whatever, whether they're probing them or doing whatever, and make it home in time for dinner with the kids. Okay.
Where did you first find out about the flat Earth theory?
I was actually doing a podcast on other conspiracies, 9/11 for one, and people started saying, "Hey, Dave, you got to look at the flat Earth. You got to look." And I refused to look. I'm like, "That's the stupidest thing ever. I'm not going to look." And people were sending me stuff. Send me a 1-minute video. Just watch this 1-minute video. Nope, not doing it. You're an idiot. And I ban them. I'll ban them. They can never comment on our stuff again. You're too stupid, right? Too stupid. And finally, somebody who I trust very much made me look. And I went in with a bad attitude. I went in to prove flat Earth wrong and prove the globe. And that was back in 2014, 2015, when Google was actually feeding you good suggestions. Now they feed you nothing but garbage, stuff that'll just tire your brain and make you want to quit. FlatEarthDave.com. Just go there, spend some time, right? Get my app. The app is the best because when you're stuck in line somewhere, stuck in a car, whatever, you can pull up every day. There's a featured video right here, a featured video. Just watch those videos. Watch the archive videos, the frequently asked questions, the more resources. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff. And by the way, check this out. Let's go here. And then we'll go look at the world map. And let's see how many people are using my app in China. Where's China? China is not a whole lot. There's some. You got a few. You got a few in here. Okay. These are people that are using my app. But look at the Western countries. There's tons of people. These are people using the app, people connecting with each other. Like you go in here and I can click on any one of these dots and I could look at the person's profile. I could contact them. I could message them.
What's how many users do you have?
Well, right here I have 131,908 in the friend finder, but there's over 300,000 people that have downloaded the app.
Got it.
But you can find that at flatearthdave.com. Flat Earth.
Can we take a look at how many New Zealanders and
New Zealand? Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand, like south of New Zealand or Argentina, like near the South Antarctica.
Well, you know what? We had a guy in Antarctica, but he just left. Or he destroyed his phone to get rid of it. So,
Like, let's take Argentina first.
okay,
Okay,
over here.
on New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah,
Argentina. Whoops.
yeah. I got a feel. Yeah, got a feel.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So there's a few there. But if we look at New Zealand's doing better. Look at New Zealand. Look at all these
New
people,
Zealand.
right? There's a whole bunch of people in New Zealand. All those blue dots,
You know,
they're all there.
like what
And my guy,
your president.
I had a guy in Casey Station, which I think is over here,
Okay.
but he's gone
Uh-huh.
now. He's gone. Wow. They probably killed him because he downloaded the app. Kidding. Kidding, everybody. But well, let's see if there's the other guy. There was another guy in the deep south. He was over here. He's gone also. Wow. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's very interesting the how people perceive things differently. Um,
So the point I'm making here is stop making up stories, defend your position. You have to research. If the earth is curved, there has to be curvature. And there is no curvature. I can show you experiments, right? Let me show you a quick experiment, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up.
yeah.
Okay. So we can see too far. And this is a large bodies of water at rest lie flat. Water, when it's cold at rest, freezes, and it freezes flat, right? So here's a lake. It's 8 miles long. We're measuring. The camera's 6 inches off the lake. And out here we have these lights, and there's 1, 8, 7, 6, and 5 miles away. At that height, at that distance, if the Earth is 24,901 miles around, like they tell us, I included stupid refraction, right? Which doesn't exist, right? You never refract something up from below something positive and make it, solid and make it appear, but I included it. So this should be more like 40 some odd feet, but 30 feet, 22, 15, and 9 feet. All of these should be that far below a physical curve, but they're not. They all show up on the same line. That's because the Earth is flat. That's because the Earth is flat, right? When you talk about sailboats going away, look, there's no sailboat out here, but as we zoom in, we're increasing our angular size. And as we increase the angular size, all of a sudden you go, oh, look, there is a sailboat there. Okay. It has to do with the angular limits of our eyes. And you can see there's water beyond the sailboat, right? My finger, let's pretend it's a little wave in the foreground, will block the entire boat. Right? These little waves in the foreground are blocking this smaller boat. You think it's going over a curve, but I just zoomed in it and proved to you that it's not going over a curve, right? You're in California. Here's Mount San Jacinto, if I pronounce that right, from Malibu, 123 miles away. 7,000 feet should be hidden by curve. We can see the whole thing. 7,000 feet is like up here. You'd only see this little tip, but we can see oh, by the way, you can't see this. This is an infrared camera that takes the haze out of the air and could see through the haze of the atmosphere, and we can see it. Earth, this proves not that the Earth is flat. The Earth is 1,000 times bigger, or it's flat. Okay, either way. So why does it matter? All of the crap that's going on in the world is they're getting away with it because people are lost in space. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they are. They're confused. They're scared. They're afraid of shortages. They're playing on their system. God created nature. We were born inheriting equal the earth as everybody else, but they created the globe, which is satanic. It has all 666s in it. And if we play on their ball field, we have to play by their rules. When you unplug from the matrix, the globe lie, then you free yourself from their mind control, and they can no longer keep, make you live in fear. And that's what they're afraid of. All of this is because every one of those blue dots I showed you, they're awake and aware, and they've unplugged from the matrix. They've unplugged. And if you unplug from the matrix, they can't control you anymore. And that's what they're afraid of. They don't want us all knowing that we're at the center of creation. These are impossible distances to see. This is all done with infrared. We can see these mountains over here. They should be hundreds of miles below the curve, right? Here's another one, really easy. This is, the higher up you are, the clearer you are. So we're at the top of a small mountain here. And using the Earth curve calculator, calculating for our observer height, because you got to subtract that. These mountains here are all, these 8 mountains should be over 40 miles below the Earth curve, but we can see them all. They're all there. They should be 40 miles behind a curve, right? You can't see my mouth because it's behind the curve. You can't zoom in on it because it's behind a physical curve. These mountains should be behind a physical curve, but they're not. You know what mainstream science says about this? You know what professors say about it? Nothing. They won't even acknowledge its existence, because if they do, they'll have to deal with the fact that their entire life is a lie.
I mean, if you keep walking towards that direction, you disappear.
Well, you disappear because of angular resolution, because of land features, because of atmosphere. Here, let me show you. You know what? I see where you're going. So here, look at this. This is where is it? So here's a spot in Aluja, France. Okay, this is a good one, right? So let me ask you a question: do you see me, or do you see the light that's bouncing off of me? You see the light that's bouncing off me. To prove that, if I turned off all the lights in my room, couldn't see me. So you need light. Light has to bounce off me for you to see me, right? So I showed you that the sun moves between the tropics. I don't know if I showed you, but it moves between the tropics. And this is the viewing spot in France. And out here is Mount Canigou, and it's 175 miles away, but you can't see it because according to the globe math, the top of that mountain's over half a mile below the curve, right? But the truth is, you can't see the light that's bouncing off of it because it can't push through 175 miles of atmosphere. However, the sun's light is much stronger. And twice a year, the sun will line up with the viewer and Mount Canigou. And as the sun moves beyond it, look carefully, look, all of a sudden, there's the mountain right there. Okay? That very top of the mountain right here should be over a half a mile below the curve. It's right there. Now, what they're telling you here, the explanation is, oh, the mountain's below the curve, and the sun's also set a long time ago, but it's refracting up. How does a mountain that doesn't have any light on it refract up and block the sun that's refracting up? It's dumb. The reason you can't figure it out is because it's stupid. It's unfigure-outable.
I see.
So it's a tough thing. Are you going to Contact in the Desert? Are you one that's going to that?
No, it's not. It's a different one.
That's okay.
It's the alien event.
Yeah, these things are tough. They're these people need to learn that they're being misled. That they're being misled about.
Why don't you just try to go to Antarctica and to
We have tried.
document?
We actually have. We've tried. One of our guys, he's been making all the calls and filing the forms and everything, and literally they stonewall you and stonewall you and stonewall you. It's going to cost about $200,000.
Yeah. Can I take a look at the records? I mean, and the processes that he tried to.
So yes, there's on how can, if you have the app you can get it, but there's a video called "Sorry, Antarctica is Closed." If you send me an email afterwards, ask me for the Antarctica video. I'll send you the whole documentation so you can see, and then you can try it yourself, right? You set it up. See if you can get them to allow you to go there. You can't. We've done it. We've tried.
Okay.
All right.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense that they close.
It doesn't make a lot of sense if you believe the Earth is a globe, but it's not. And that's why it makes a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense because they don't want you going where you'll discover that the Earth is not
And you
what they
sure
tell you.
the footages of people flying over Antarctica, those are either faked or just didn't happen?
Well, there's a Pan Am flight that will fly you over Antarctica, but they literally just they go from here and they'll fly out here a little bit and they'll fly over here and then they'll come back. That's it. And they say, "Oh, you went over to the South Pole." No, you didn't. You just skimmed the shoreline. And when I say skim the shoreline, you go 100 miles in, you're not even going to see the shoreline. 100 this right here is probably 2,000 miles right here. What about all of this? What about all of that? Okay. Antarctica could be bigger than all of our known world and all the oceans combined. It could. We don't know because we're not allowed to go there.
I mean, what you're trying to say is that like all the people who go to space, they're faking or
They're not all
faking.
liars. Don Pettit, American astronaut, I think he's just retarded. I think he actually thinks that he's in space. And actually, there's some young people that they've had in space that are completely hypnotized. If you know anything about hypnosis, you can see that this girl is hypnotized. They put her on wires in a studio. They said, "You're on the space station, you're floating, you're going to answer these questions, and then you're going to do a flip at the end, and you're in zero gravity and you don't see the wires." Well, she did her flip and it got all screwed up and she got all tangled in the wires and she lost her balance and it was completely obvious, right? But she doesn't believe it. There's a small handful of people that know. Most of the people that we've talked to at NASA don't know what the person next to them is doing. They don't. It's all compartmentalized. Not as many people are in on it as you would think.
You cannot fool everyone. Everyone that have gone up to space. I just don't think that all
How
the
many
people
people have
that
been to
are.
space? But I think like 50 people have been to space or whatever. They're all
No,
from
there are more than that.
or
I'm
maybe it's
talking about
500. Maybe it's 500, but nobody's been to space. There's 500 stories of people going to space. There's another documentary on my website, flatearthdave.com. Scroll down until you see Crash Course. Open that up, a list of videos that you'll never find without those links. And one of them is NASA going nowhere since 1959. Watch that, and you'll understand how they keep kicking the can down the road. We're supposedly sending some humans to the moon in 2025. Guaranteed they're going to kick the can down the road. As a matter of fact, just today, they came out with an article saying it may be too dangerous to send people back to the moon. Even though we did it 5 times or 4 times, whatever the number, in the 1960s, we played golf, we drove dune buggies, and it's too, and that, but we can't do it now in 2024. Look at the evidence. Put down your ego. Let your childhood ball
I
go.
think they didn't go back to the moon for a different reason.
Why? Because there's aliens on the moon?
I think they were warned off.
Yeah, there were. So but I believe that too. You have no evidence of that. I think the moon is a plasma. It's here within our Earth system, right? Why is it during the day when the moon is in the blue sky, we see blue through the moon, and at night sky, it's we see black, right?
Wait, sit down one time. I didn't pay attention to this. Do you have pictures?
I'm trying to pull up a picture of it. Maybe I have it over here. Moon. Where is it? Oh yeah, right here. So whatever color the sky is, the craters take that same color. It's pretty weird. Black, green, blue. The moon, when you look at the moon with an open mind, not an indoctrinated mind, it's in the day sky, the blue sky is behind the moon. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's amazing, right? No specular highlight. No specular highlight ever on the moon. Every sphere has a specular highlight, right? We don't even know if the moon is a sphere. $38 million back in 1960. It's a bunch of beach chairs, an umbrella. Okay, nonsense. And $37 million, even with inflation, for this bad boy today. Okay. Come on. It's a money laundering scheme for dark budgets, for black budgets. It's for the elite. They're just stealing money from the American people and the Japanese people, not the Chinese people. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's,
Let me do some research, additional
yeah.
research on
In
this,
1969, we got to the
especially.
moon in 3 days, but in 1922, it takes 6 days to get to the moon with the same stupid rocket. This is a balloon. It's filled with helium. It's filled with helium.
6 days to the moon.
Yeah.
I actually I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so why are they going such different speeds? Why is all of that? Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, let me do additional research. It's especially on Antarctica. I just don't think it's impossible. I just think
so
it's impossible for.
I don't know if you'll be able to find the video on YouTube. It's called Sorry, Antarctica's Closed by Taboo Conspiracy. But if you can't find it, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. And then that'll help you with your research. Don't believe anything that I tell you. Don't believe anything. Verify everything yourself. But he did all the work for you. He'll show you everything that he did. It's about a 30-minute video. And then at the end of it, you're going to be like, wow. That's what you're going to be like, wow. All right.
Okay, got it.
Are we good?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right, Samuel, thanks for everything. Good luck, and discuss this with your colleagues, and they're going to talk you right out of it. Don't, Google it. You're going to just find nonsense, and then it's easier to believe what you believe than to know anything at all. Belief
Okay.
is the enemy of knowing, right? Belief is easy. You believe I'm in Connecticut. You believe whatever. It's easy. You don't have to verify anything. Knowing takes time and effort. You seem like a guy that wants to know, so good luck.
Okay, great. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.